Hello, everyone. Hope you can hear me well. So, as Justus already mentioned, I'm Evaldas. So I work in QA field for almost 18 years now. But this is my actually first public speaking. So, yeah, don't judge me too much. So, let me probably start a little bit about my journey. So 18 years is quite a lot, so I will mention only a few turning points in my career, maybe some companies where I worked for. Not to waste time on me, but let's concentrate on farming. So yeah, so I got my bachelor's degree in Vilnius Tech in computer science, and I joined a company called Exigent Services, where I actually joined as a junior test specialist and started testing online insurance solutions. And this is the company where I grew to a senior level, and I got my acquaintance with test automation. So going further, my career took a turn, and I joined a company called Electronica. And this was also an interesting turn of events because I got to test the point of sale system. If you haven't heard about point of sale system, it's that big screen that cashiers work with. So easy to say like this. After that, I joined a company called IBM. Probably you heard about it. Not to expand a bit, well, I joined a specific financial project where I gained my first experience in finances. After that, I joined SEB, and you would think like, oh, what a wonderful turn. You joined the bank, and after you just got financial experience. But actually, it was a data migration project where I got also some knowledge about ETL flow. So for those who also don't know what that is extract, transform, load, where you take data from the source, transform it, and put it into destination. So that was an interesting testing experience here. After that, my career took a turn, and I joined a company called Adform. So some of you may have heard it, some of you may have not, but I think with the products of this company, well, you got acquainted every day. So if you know what targeted ad is, that's the company behind it. After that, I joined Luminor. This time, it's a financial project, and I joined as a test automation lead. We automated the payment flows, whether it be positive, negative, you name it. Well, and finally, I joined my current company called Cujo AI, which is a leading network cybersecurity company. And I work here as a senior quality manager. And currently, my main task here is to maintain the zoo. A device farm. What is a device farm? Device farm, in essence, is a zoo. So it has animals, phones, routers, OS quirks. Then what it has, the zookeepers, us who build and maintain it. And it has the visitors. Who are the visitors? That's the teams who come to the zoo while trying to run the tests. Okay? That sounds logical. Okay? So before I tell you how we built this, I'm going to tell you a bit why we needed to build this. So before having device farm, we had quite a chaos in the company, so to say. So every team had their own setup, have their own framework, had their own devices, meaning that each of the team had separately had to do setup jobs, had to install some applications if needed, had to do manual configuration. And that's not the point. That's not the whole point. The whole point is that everything was breaking. I think you meet that also quite a lot at your job. It's like every QA's common thing to bear. So it was like VPNs going offline, systems going offline, phones updating to newer versions, and your automation going amok. So, and another thing, well, all the test results of our test automation was living in specific team dashboards, right? So what that meant, we had no real visibility, overall visibility of the automation state in the company. So that was the zoo before anybody tamed it, right? So that's where the device farm came into the play. We had to unify everything, try to get centralized view on test automation, and make automated testing efforts as transparent as possible. So, how it started? Early 2025, the grand vision. So, a single document promised. You can see global multi-location farm, United States, Israel, Lithuania, Finland. Well, we had React dashboard, Postgres, Prometheus, Grafana. I'm already tired of listing everything. So everybody saw that, nodded their head and said, yes, yes, that's what we want. Yes, wouldn't you say so? I think. Well, and then day one. So what do you think we had? No, we had a phone. One single phone on someone's desk with a sticky note saying, don't touch, it's mine. So the first thing I want you to take out of this talk is that architecture document or specification and working thing are two completely different things. And from the distance, you may think that, well, one may lead to the second one. In reality, that's not always the case. So, going further, so the first real brick on that same time, early 2025, there was a when the specification was published, there was a tiny commit which had the commit message saying, in the beginning there was the word. So the author had a flair for poetry, right? You can see. But what was actually in it? It was not a multi-location device farm. It was not a scheduler, not a dashboard. It was just a tiny Python package that wraps around Appium a little bit more nicely and says, here, talk with the phone. A little bit easier than before. So, the first turning point. So, when the grand vision started slowly gathering dust and everybody started changing roles, well, that tiny repo, device farm, device controller, started getting commits. The main point, it was alive. So now, what we have now, that's already more than a brick, right? So we have router controller, which talks to the routers, which actually gets our agent version, Cujo agent version, which allows you to run SSH commands. We have the same device farm device controller, which actually controls the devices, discovers the devices. Then we have this device farm infrastructure. It contains all our AWS infra as a code. So as I mentioned previously, onboarding, so we say Mac minis used to be at least a day's work. Now, you just run one script and it installs Appium, it registers your Mac mini, as a Jenkins node, it does all the magic behind the scenes. Then we have this device farm, Jenkins jobs. It's the CI pipelines definitions as code. Nothing is handcrafted in UI, which I don't know if I should explain why we don't handcraft anything in UI, but basically a simple thing. If you use Jenkins and you restart the instance, what you have to do? Configure everything again in UI. So, what else? I wanted to say that this is not a script that just anyone wrote anymore. This is a proper platform with appropriate procedures behind it. So, good, let's go further. So, who built this? So, early 2025. So, it basically was one full-time employee, and yeah, that was me. Then there was a good-hearted DevOps engineer and another good-hearted test architect who actually helped me and didn't let me lose and go amok in this project. Then, in the autumn 2025, another colleague joined the team. He was full-time, and suddenly, when I could actually take on just small pieces and build just bit by bit, we suddenly could take on bigger pieces. We could review each other's work. We could do pair programming. We could do everything that I could not do alone. And look what got added when. So, started only with device controller, but we added router controller, anticipating our OTM Wi-Fi needs, and even before they asked. So sometimes you don't even need a spec. Sometimes you just may anticipate the need of the teams when you talk to them. Then, as I mentioned, we added infrastructure repository when onboarding new Mac minis started hurting. Well, we learned that the hard way. Yeah? Sometimes you need a good kick in the back to start fixing the things that make you really hurt. Another thing, we have Grafana, which is the project for centralized test results viewing. And when we got that, well, when the zoo visitors, or you can call the teams, came and said, yeah, we need to have centralized test view, because some of the tests or some of the services, well, our tests depend on them, so we want to see everything in one place. Yeah, so next, so how did we convince them, the teams, to actually start using our internal tooling in this device farm? So the thing is, we didn't pitch them on the architecture. We didn't pitch them on the specification. What we did, we actually came to the team that we wanted to onboard and said, listen guys, so we have the infrastructure, we have the phones, we have the routers, we have the software that you might need, so the basis for your tests, and what you have to do. So the thing is, you just have to create a job in our Jenkins pipeline, pick a phone, pick a router, click build. That's it. Yeah. So I think sometimes small working thing may convince people much better than something written on the paper. Nevertheless, how glorious would it look like? Okay, so there's another side to this story. I called it the adoption tax. I don't know if you heard that or not, but there's a hint. Real users bring real bugs. So when the team started using it, suddenly one of the phones is not allowing IADB commands, and you have to do all the network configuration connecting to the Wi-Fi only through UI. Then, let's say, Chrome in the devices updates past any version known to the Appium bundled mappings, or a new version of one UI shading some elements that we used to navigate. So the good side of this story is that every bug only appears because somebody is actually using your tool. So if there wouldn't be any bugs, that would mean that, well, nobody is using the code you write. So what's the point of this, right? And you know what? Another thing is, well, each of these issues that are listed here is a day of someone's life. You need to fix it properly, right? And you remember when I said that we had different teams with different setups. So fixing same issue in different areas would take a day for each of the team. But here, we fix it just in one place. Okay, so recent story. So I get a Slack notification from the colleague saying, "Good morning, I hope you had your coffee. So here's the error, have you seen this?" Well, it doesn't sound scary, right? It's just like, you know, Appium is not recognizing the Chrome to which the phone updated. So it's not a big problem, and we can fix it easily. But the thing is, we fix it in one place for everyone, as I just mentioned. I want to emphasize this again and again, because if you have a shared infrastructure, you spend much less time on fixing issues. You fix in one place, everybody gets it instantly, right? Okay, sorry for my loud breathing into the microphone. I just hear you know myself. So let's go further. So this is the high-level architecture. It looks quite simple, right? So we have the Mac Mini, which is actually, well, which is actually in the green rectangle. It has phones connected to it via USB, iPhone and Android phones. It has Cujo, it is connected to the Cujo router, and like phones also. So that Cujo router has the agent, which talks to the agent Cujo cloud and connects to the internet, of course. Then we have 3 controllers: device controller, router controller, and API controller. So I already mentioned about those, what they are for, but in short, controlling device, controlling router, talking with our AWS account where all the magic happens. Then we have this Jenkins node. So basically, just to emphasize, so our main Jenkins instance runs on the AWS GTN. GTN stands for Global Test Network. And then it orchestrates all the test runs, everything. And here, the Mac Mini is registered as a Jenkins node, where he gets the instructions from the main node. Then the test repositories contain the test code. They pull the device farm package from the AWS code artifact and start using it. Then again, there's Grafana, as I mentioned, the centralized testing portal. It's basically not in our AWS global testing network. It stands on, it lives on another AWS account. Yeah, yeah, so, but there may arise a question, so how do we access those Mac minis when we need to solve some problems? So for that, we have even 3 ways to do it. The first one is the AWS System Manager Agent. Each of the Mac minis is registered as a Mac mini agent. What that means that I can connect to the AWS, and from it I can control any Mac mini that I want. And if Mac mini, let's say, restarts, there's some power outage or anything, when it comes back to life, it gets the internet, it gets automatically connected back. So it's quite foolproof, so to say. Another option is TeamViewer. So TeamViewer, probably you're all acquainted with. There's nothing new I can explain, but that's basically a remote desktop, right? And well, there's the third thing, and it's called the KVM. So can you raise your hands? How many of you know what a KVM is? Or okay, at least one hand that I see. Very nice. So basically, a KVM is a small box that connects to the LAN cable and connects to the computer, and it gives you a virtual keyboard and a virtual monitor. And let's say if there is an internet outage and you cannot reach the Mac Mini via AWS or TeamViewer, so you can actually connect to the KVM, log into the Mac Mini, see the problem, solve it, and you save your time traveling to the office first and coming back. So how does it actually look in reality? Yeah, well, it doesn't look nice, right? Well, I agree. I know what you're thinking. It doesn't look nice. It needs some wiring and etc. But that's not the main point. The main point is that it works. So we used to have firstly 2 Mac Minis and some routers and phones connected in 2 different locations, in Vilnius and Kaunas. But due to simply lack of locked office space, we had to move one of our nodes from Vilnius back to Kaunas. So you can see these 2 Mac Minis that you see here are the purpose built for the device farm. So basically, we have 4 Mac Minis now. So we onboarded one of the team, and it had 2 Mac Minis. So we brought them under same umbrella. So now we have 4 Mac Minis, just in the same office, just different locked spaces. So yeah, this is, you must understand that this is just a journey which is not yet finished. It's going. And I don't say that it's the highest priority to make it look beautiful outside. So going further, so looking back at that early 2025, that grand vision, that grand document, I was thinking, what a funny coincidence, actually. Well, the architecture document, the beautiful specification had such an amazing features. And, well, what do we have now? We have this device reservation, multi-lab, well, Vilnius, Kaunas, now it's Kaunas, but different rooms, so different locations. Then we have auto device discovery, dynamic agent router, and much more. And you know what's the difference? Well, the architecture document actually wanted to have us everything at once. But in reality, we did a bit by bit. Everything was added when a specific zookeeper came in and said, you know, we need this. And here's the arguments why. Okay, let's do it, why not? But we needed like a good arguments to work with it. So another thing is I wanted to talk is that the hard part wasn't the code. So basically, the 30% of the complexity is the code. And you remember when I said that we came to the team and said that, oh, look, we have the full infrastructure. Come on, use it, enjoy it, make our life easier. Well, they said yes. But you know what? The problem was that when the first failure came into play, well, who do you think was blamed for that? Yeah, that was us, the zookeepers. And another thing we had to endure, we had some people coming and saying, look, I have this brilliant idea for the device farm, it's fantastic. And we had to say no, because we knew that it's like an abstract idea more. Nobody will actually use it, okay? So what we actually was saying yes to was to these boring fixes that actually one person was helping one person at a time, but it was helping him forever. So what I want to mention is that internal tooling is not a project, it's a relationship. It's a relationship that you need to listen to the needs and build only what is needed. Okay, so what's next in our journey? So you remember when I said that we wanted to have multi-location, right? And now we have multi-location only on different rooms. Well, there's a plan to have another location in the United States. So the same device controller, so the same infrastructure, the same pipelines, and you know what's the good part? The Mac Minis doesn't care where to stay. So next is well, now Mac Minis here serve as a Jenkins node, as an orchestration tool, but we want to expand on this, that we actually want to use Mac Mini as a test target itself. Desktop browsers, any other capabilities of this platform, well, we'll try to squeeze whatever we can from it. Then, well, we need to go further and onboard other teams, and hopefully not by force. Well, that won't work, probably everyone understands that. So we need to onboard them by proper example, like we did with the first team, the OTM team, that they joined, and now I think they are happy. Well, we'll need to ask them, but they are not here, so I'll say that they are happy. So another thing, well, there's the biggest dream that we have is to unify all automation on the device farm. So you need to understand that Cujo AI has teams not only in Lithuania, but it has in Israel, in Finland, in United States, etc. So to unify all the automation efforts here is quite a job to do. So new things come up in this journey every day, and that's not a problem, that's the point. A living tool has a living infrastructure. So the lessons learned. First, architecture documents don't ship, people do. And architecture document actually is not the finish line. It's just an invitation to start. Okay. So the second one, smallest working thing is always better than a beautiful feature that exists only on paper. Third one, so complexity should be earned one user at a time. So this corresponds to the thing that I just mentioned. And what I wanted to say by this is that build only the things that will actually be used. You don't need to build anything that sounds good, but in reality nobody will use. Well, that's not useful. for you, that's not useful for the company. I don't know how it could be useful. Maybe just to sell the product. And the fourth, the most important one is internal tooling is a relationship. It's not a project. I know, I repeat myself again and again, but like any relationship, anyone who listens wins, not the one who talks. So build a zoo where everyone wants to come back to. Now, it doesn't matter how small the first cage was. And thank you for your attention today.
All right, captivating talk, very interesting, and a lot of questions actually in the Slido. And actually one question stands out with the votes, with the popularity. So what were the main reasons for choosing a local mobile farm over a cloud solution? Why I'm saying cloud, not cloud. Cloud solution like browser stack.
Okay, so, well, this is first, the first thing I said was that Cujo AI is a leading network cybersecurity company, right? So we admire security in the first place. So probably that was one of the main reasons why we wanted to have everything built in-house. And sometimes it's much cheaper to have a few folks knowing what they are doing, maintaining it, than buying some services when they can, change the terms and conditions and prices at any time. So, hope that answers the question.
I hope so. What's your daily work, considering that if new device can be added easily with one click, built, and the zoo is working independently? So what's your daily job then?
So we have new features coming along. And you remember one of the last slides, what's next? So I hope that answers the question, right? We have another location, we have other teams to convince to, we have, other things to sell and promote device farm in a way that it should sell and promote itself, sometimes the work should talk for itself, not us do the talking.
And do you have a cage in your plans for the animal called AI?
Yeah, we have a cage specifically for AI, specifically designed for AI. So basically, I know that this is like a pitch that everyone needs to say AI. Yeah, so yeah, we also use AI, and Cujo AI also stands by its name, right? And it helps, but we don't let the horse loose, so to say.
All right, that's it. And really thank you for accepting the challenge and coming.